President Bush signed legislation today creating an independent commission to investigate the September 11th attack on America. The president named a supporter, Dr. Henry Kissinger, Secretary of State in the Nixon and Ford administrations, to head the panel.
He has a penchant for secrecy, which is not what's needed here. There are questions about his role in Vietnam, his role in the coup in Chile.
Several family members approached Kissinger and requested a meeting at his office in New York. Prior to the meeting, Kristen Breitweiser conducted a thorough investigation of Kissinger's potential conflicts of interest.
Probably much to the chagrin of some of the people in the room, Lori asked some very pointed questions. Would you have any Saudi American clients that you would like to tell us about? And he was very uncomfortable, kind of twisting and turning on the couch. And then she asked whether he had any clients by the name of Bin Laden. And he just about fell off his couch.
Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger stepped down from the position Friday.
Well, I never like to miss a chance to confront Henry Kissinger, and I don't get that many, because when he knows I'm coming, or when he knows I'm going to be in the area, up till now he has cancelled. That's 4 times now this year. What I yearn for is the chance for some quality time with him. He refused to answer any questions when the Harper's articles were being written, but I do want to confront him and to make him realize that we're not going to stop asking.
Kissinger's admirers point to his impact as a global strategist. During the Cold War era, he saw international diplomacy as a grand game of finding the right balance between opposing superpowers.
I think that Kissinger's greatest accomplishment was a triangular diplomacy in which he was able to balance China off against the Soviet Union and have America retain a role in the world after Vietnam, when it would have been natural for us to retreat.
Kissinger's critics charge that his worldview blinded him to the human cost of the Cold War. Recently released documents reveal episodes in Indochina, Indonesia, and Chile, where Kissinger may have needlessly sacrificed human lives to pursue strategic goals.
That this man could operate at such a horrible level and not get exposed for year after year after year after year, how many people came out against him, is an embarrassment to my profession. I gotta tell you, the dark side of Henry Kissinger is very, very dark.
Daniel Estulin has covered the Bilderberg meetings in Europe and North America for more than 15 years. His book, Club Bilderberg, has been translated into more than 20 languages and is a global bestseller. Estulin has photographed many past Bilderberg meetings. Rockefeller frontman Henry Kissinger is always a key participant.
A world government, which is what Bilderberg is into by and large, the idea of a one world community, a new world order.
The United States, a country which really doesn't understand foreign policy very well in terms of its public, because its public is not all that engaged in the world. Nevertheless, the United States is in a key position to shape this so that the problem of the Bush presidency will be the emergence of a new international order.
Within the next 4 years, we will see the emergence of a new international order.
The beginning of a new international order.
Are we at one of those moments in history in which there is the necessity for a new world order? A, because of what's taken place in the Middle East, the rise of different kinds of groups, and B, what's happened in Asia, meaning that there has been a shift from the West to the East.
There's a need for a new world order, but it has different characteristics in different parts of the world. All I'm saying is that we should not look at this current situation from a posture of being paralyzed by the symptoms of crisis.
Fair enough. Within the crisis, there is opportunity. But when you talk about a new structure, I'm not sure you've used the term new world order. I mean, what is it? Is it simply a world order that's defined by new interest and new mutuality of interest?
That's certainly how you have to start. And I know the view that you start by converting the whole world to our political philosophy. I don't think that can be done in 1 or 2 terms of an administration. That's a historic process that has its own rhythm.
Has it suffered a setback, A, because of Iraq, and B, because of the economic crisis?
And what suffered a setback?
The idea of America leading and building a whole new consensus for a kind of...
Look, there are so many problems in the world at this moment that can only be dealt with on a global basis. And that's unique. Proliferation.
Environment.
Environment.
In some cases, global health.
What do you think the most important thing is for Barack Obama? Obviously, you're here to talk about the anniversary for U.S.-China diplomatic relations, but if you had to say this is going to be the country or the conflict or the place that will define the Obama administration, what would it be?
The president-elect is coming into office at a moment when there are upheavals in many parts of the world simultaneously. You have India, Pakistan, you have the jihadist movement. So he can't really say there is one problem that is the most important one. But he can give a new impetus to American foreign policy, partly because the reception of him is so extraordinary around the world. I think his task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity. It isn't just a crisis.
The dark side of Henry Kissinger is very, very dark.
In December of 1974, the U.S. government made Third World population reduction a central national security issue. The operation plan, titled National Security Study Memorandum 200, was simply a regurgitation of the British Commission on Population, created by King George VI of England in 1944, which openly stated that populous Third World nations posed a threat to the international elite's monopoly of global power. The Kissinger-authored U.S. plan targeted 13 key countries where massive population reduction was called for. Kissinger recommended that IMF and World Bank loans be given on condition that nations initiate aggressive population control programs, such as sterilization. Kissinger also recommended that food be used as a weapon, and that instigating wars was also a helpful tool in reducing population.
Do you still feel that the Third World population is a major concern, the explosion, or is terrorism, has that surpassed that now? The two are connected?
Tell me what the New World Order is, what you mean by the New World Order? Right back here.
It's bound to fail.
It's not the North American Union, sir. You also quoted saying that
national sovereignty will prevail. Nice to meet you. Hey, do you feel the AIDS virus is a bioweapon, or do you think it's a natural occurring disorder or virus? The AIDS virus.
I don't have any idea.
No, nothing to do with National Security Memorandum 200, which calls for immune-ravaging viruses for biological warfare?
I've never heard of that National Security.
You wrote it back in the early 70s.
Oh, come on.
You need to...
National Security Memorandum.
Grow up.
He doesn't hear. He's never heard of National Security Memorandum that he penned and as National Security Advisor under Richard Nixon.